Catapulting Commissions family. What's up, team? Welcome back to this week's episode of Catapulting Commissions. I'm your host, Anthony Garcia. Look, every week I say my guest is an amazing guest, and every week I truly believe that. Today isn't going to be any different. So if you had to look back at how you started your sales career, I don't think any one of my guests at this point started selling Speedos, except for today. My guest started selling Speedos. Now he's selling seven-figure contracts. He's on a mission to help 1 million B2B salespeople sell and earn 50 to 100% more in 2021 and beyond. Marcus has been featured in MarketWatch, Forbes, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo News. He is also one of the top recognized sales voices for LinkedIn, which in the world of influence and in the world of sales, I mean, that's one of like the key prizes. So Marcus Chan has joined us today. Total stud. And here's the truth, Catapulting Commissions family. I've been a fan of Marcus since we've launched the brand. So he was somebody who was on my vision board that when I felt the audience had grown, I was going to reach out to him. So today we have Marcus Chan on the Catapulting Commission podcast. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Hey, Anthony, my man, it's my absolute pleasure. You're giving me a huge head. I'm just a regular dude out here of average, actually sub-average height, who's balding, but I'm pumped to be here. Hopefully we'll learn some things and teach some things to your audience here to go out there and crush it and really help them catapult their commissions today.
Man, I love it. I love it, buddy. So let's not take anything away. Before we jump into all the goods, man, I got to be honest with you. I've never had anybody on the show that started selling Speedos. So like, I mean, did you really sell Speedos?
Oh, I did. Now, before I tell you how I started selling Speedos, I was competitive swimmer growing up for life, right? So okay. I grew up swimming competitively. It was kind of normal. We just wore Speedos. So what we did. Now, the thing was I got this job when I was 17. And the reason I got this job selling Speedos is because I was kind of forced into it. My parents had a restaurant growing up. We were very poor. We all worked in the restaurant. My plan was go to school and work at the restaurant to make money to pay for school. That was my goal. Well, in 2002, my parents said, hey, Marcus, we've sold the restaurant. You need to go get a different job now.
Oh, boy.
And at the time, I don't think Google's even around at that point. People had like classified ads, etc. But I don't want to do that. So I went to my network and I found out one of the swim coaches was opening a swimsuit store selling Speedos, accessories. I'm like, that's great. I should apply. I applied. I got the job. It was really cool. It was like a retail store. But on weekends, what I would do is I would wake up at 3:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would go and drive to the store, load a pickup truck full of swim gear, Speedos gear. I would drive 2 hours away to a local swim meet, set up stands, and I would sling Speedos for 12 to 14 hours. And then, boom, get done, drive 2 hours home, and rinse and repeat. And that was a ton of fun. And I didn't know at the time, but I actually was pretty good at selling Speedos because I would double their sales every weekend when I went to these meets. But that was my first jump into selling Speedos specifically.
Man, the hustle you have there, I have to say this. That hustle you had as a kid, I get so excited when I get young kids that reach out to me through social media or I connect that have that hustle, because more often than not, I find people don't have that hustle heart of like, I'm gonna drive 2 hours and sell Speedos. Why? Because that's what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm making money. There was no complaining. Love it. Tell us a little bit about your sales background before I start picking your brain. So you've built a consulting business. You've been incredibly successful. I think it's a little under 20 years. I not really good at math, bad part, but I see a long track record of success. Tell us your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the thing was, I never wanted to be in sales. Okay. I wasn't a born salesperson. That wasn't really something I thought I would do really as the full-time career. The truth is this: I went to college. I thought I was going to be an architect. I did not become an architect. I didn't know I was going to do. I became undeclared. And when I graduated, I had a few different job offers on the table, working in banks, whatever. The sales job I took was the lowest paying job possible, $29,500 base salary, and that's a job I took. Now, I got into it specifically because I saw the opportunity where I could build something from scratch. It was a startup division of a major company. I'm like, this is a great opportunity. I can go in there, I can learn how to build a business, maybe get promoted, and do some pretty cool things. Now, when I first started in sales, I was the worst because I was so used to people coming in, right? I was used to set up a Speedo stand. People would come to me. That's easy. That's easy when people are coming to you. Now, there was no brand recognition. We'd go out and hunt, and it was in the last recession as well. So this is 2007. So I'm like, oh man. So for the first 2 months, I struggled, man. I was the worst trip. I made the most calls. I sent the most emails. I outworked everybody because I could hustle. I'm like, I'm gonna hustle everybody. Hustle. Did it. I was the worst. Okay. I didn't think I could make it in sales. Now eventually I figured it out. By month 3, I became number 1. And then I eventually, stayed number 1, got promoted a bunch of times, got promoted multiple times, ended up building multiple 7-figure teams from there. And I was at that company for about 4 years total in that specific, division. And then from there, I thought to myself, hey, I'm running these multi-million-dollar teams. I'm having pretty good success. Can I repeat this somewhere else? Totally different industry. And I had some self-doubt there because maybe I got lucky. Maybe it was whatever, right? So I made that jump to a whole new company. It was a very strategic move, but I made that jump. Took 2 steps backwards, okay? Back into an individual contributor role. Jumped in that role, started having some really good success. Within 9 months, this is also another Fortune 500 company. They made me the sales manager. I didn't realize at the time, though, when I joined, I was on the worst team in the region, in the worst region of the company. So it was the worst team in the whole company, which is pretty cool. Took over the worst team in the company. That was pretty cool. Turned that team around. We started winning awards. I ran that role for another 4 years. So I was at that point with the company 4.5 years. Became one of the youngest directors in the company at 4.5 years in. Took over a middle market, average market. I had like 80 reps. Grew to 110, took it to number 1. We started winning awards every single year. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of fun. And I did that for another 4 more years. And at that point is when I decided, you know what? It's time for me to make that move to start my own business, which I had been building on a side for a few years before that. Then I made that move. And then I went and started my own business about 2 years ago, 18 months ago. And we've been off and run. It's been an absolute blast. I mean, honestly, there's ups, there's downs, there's challenges. But it's amazing because now I get to serve B2B sales professionals at a higher level and deeper to help them become the best version of themselves.
Dude, I love it. Your energy is contagious. 1, 2, hearing the story, right? You go B2B background, you started small. I like how you said you took a step back, right? So I'm assuming you took a financial step back to be an individual contributor for possibly a bigger opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so you move forward, you built to climb the ranks, and you go out on your own. I mean, that's nerve-wracking for anyone. I mean, I speak to sales entrepreneurs all the time. And the question I love to ask is, what was that moment you said, okay, I'm going to switch and I'm going to make this my company, where I'm not going to work for this company. I've gained what I wanted from here, but I'm going to go and make that transition. What was that moment for you?
Yeah, so it took a while to get there, first off, because it wasn't like, all right, I'm having fun, it's awesome, right? You get to the point, especially if, like, for yourself, you're having success in your career, you're rocking and rolling, you don't really want to rock the boat, okay? Like, you're like, I got a good life, great income, great impact, great everything. You're like, I don't want to rock the boat. And I'll say the story really starts at about 2015, and it was really at that point. I didn't realize at that point really what I have achieved, because you show up every day, you buckle down, you get results, you get promoted, things are just happening, life's really, really good. And at that point, I remember people started reaching out to me and say, hey, Marcus, listen, how did you get promoted 10 times in 10 years, work for 2 major big companies? How did you do that? I'm like, oh, this is what I did. They're like, you should write a book. I was like, okay. So that's when I started learning about, writing ebooks, online monetization, online marketplaces, digital marketing. So I went and learned how to write some ebooks and how to do that. So I started doing that, started selling them. That's kind of cool. Like, I woke up first launch, nothing crazy. I woke up $9, my PayPal account. I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Like, some strangers gave me $9. I was so confused because I was used to the direct selling model, right? Like, I prospect, I'm in front of them, we close them. That was what I'm used to. So this is weird to me. Some stranger paid me. But that was an aha. But I also knew, when you're a top performer, you're earning, high multiple six figures a year, you can't really leave that for $9 an ebook. So
true.
I'm like, what could I do? So I started researching and studying online marketing, digital marketing, what to do. And that's when I came across online courses. Now they're the total rage now, but back then they weren't as popular. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I could build an online course. I'm like, what could I write about? What can I create? And I got a lot of questions about B2B sales and people struggle. And even though my company had great training, there were still gaps. I'm like, what if I could build a program that would fill in the gaps that past Marcus I could have used when he was, 21, and it would fill everything in. So it took me 2 years to build this out. A little because I was still traveling. I was in a hotel room 100 nights a year, traveling nonstop. I had a big team. I had 110 employees at that point. I mean, we were doing 9 figures a year in revenue. So we're just crushing it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me build this out. It took me 2 years. I built this digital course. All right. Everything I thought I needed. I did very soft at the beginning of 2019. I woke up, made $2,000 overnight. And that was a moment. It hit me. I'm like, oh, wow, I could scale this.
Yeah.
I can scale $1,000, $2,000. I can't scale $9, right? You have to drive tons of traffic to get to that point. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I can make this happen. Now, at that point, though, I still was a little bit, I had to plan some stuff out, right? Because, you got to time everything out. So I'm like, okay, you know what? If I was to make this move, how would that look? What would my offers need to be like? How do I need to be able to deliver it? How can I fulfill it? Do all these things? Okay. So I started really figuring out my strategy, but also I had to do some little bit of timing as well, because I also, I knew I was going to hit President's Club that year. I want my top elite trip. I wanted my trip. My comp plan was tied heavily to receiving a lot of equity and stock that I would receive, and I knew I'd get that in July. I wanted that because I earned it. Okay. Yep. I also, it also invests too. I also knew that we had our earnings call for a company in September. So to cash out, I want to wait till then because that's a higher stock price, so you get more money, right? So I wait for all those dominoes to fall. And then September 19, 2019, I turned in my 2 weeks and I was out and I started running my business. So that was the moment back in early January 2019. I made that decision, and then it finally happened 9 months after that. But it all started back in early 2015. The seed of the idea started to eventually start my own business.
Dude, you motivate me and inspire me. But what I love there is you hear that you have a value, right? Somebody purchased something, and I know that feeling. That $9. So I know because when I first launched Catapulting Commissions, like on Amazon gives you this little royalty number, and I'm watching it grow. I'm like, holy crap, people are buying my book. And even to this day, now that I've sold a good amount of books, and I don't get the sticker shock, but every now and then, like I picked up a client randomly just on my website, Delaware, ordered my book and workbook, and I'm like, dude, that is so humbling. Like, it's just, I felt like, man, somebody wants to hear my stuff, so that I know where that goes, and you see how you scale it. So let's talk about this. Marcus, you have scaled your business, your brand, and honestly, you are one of the best people I have seen on LinkedIn. I've talked with people about social media on Catapulting Commissions before. I've never spent any time on the show. We're at this point, maybe 70, 80 episodes deep, where I've never really spoke with somebody about using LinkedIn as a preferred method for growing your business. Can you walk us through, just give us you're the LinkedIn top voices. You obviously are doing something right. Walk us through your experience. How are you using and leveraging LinkedIn to generate sales for your business?
Yeah, so I'm gonna break this down very tactically for everyone, right? I think first off, detach from outcome. All right, detach from the outcomes of what you want with LinkedIn. That's important because sometimes people get a little caught up, like, oh, you know what? Like, I want to close the time. But yes, I'll tell you right now, the strategies I'm gonna tell you today, exactly what to do, just off because you want to have multiple sources of traffic. You don't want to just have one. But LinkedIn itself has maybe multiple six figures in revenue just off LinkedIn by itself. It's a very powerful if you do it right. Okay. And you can apply some of these strategies to other platforms as well. The same concepts can apply as well if you do it right. And remember this, me being able to, it may seem like a unicorn, like, oh, cool, I quit my job and suddenly October 2019, I'm making money already off LinkedIn. No. Remember, for 4 or 5 years, I was learning internet marketing and testing it on the platforms. So I was able to take some of those lessons to apply to LinkedIn. So walking out of the gates, I knew exactly what to do. Okay, so just be aware of that. So I'm not a unicorn. I'm not a genius. I've just failed on their platforms, and I've taken core timeless marketing strategies and applied to a new vehicle of LinkedIn. So now let's talk about how to actually do it. Now, maybe I can reframe your question. Maybe it's like, what would I do if I had to start over right now with LinkedIn? Is that a good question to start with?
Dude, we'll start there. That's a great question. Love it.
All right, cool. Because some people may go on LinkedIn right now like, hey, Marcus, you have a good amount of followings. This makes sense. Of course, you got this. Nah. When I started with LinkedIn at that time, October 2019, I had 3,000 followers. Nothing crazy. Not really little, but not really a lot either. Okay. So the first thing I did, number one, is I optimized my profile. Okay. The beautiful part about LinkedIn is your profile is essentially a sales page for you. All right. So when people show up on the page, you have a couple different goals. Number one, you want to establish credibility that you know what you're talking about. Okay. You want to establish trust, and you want to be able to know and like you as well, and know that you can help them. And obviously, if you can convert that into a lead, even better. But that's not really as important as the other thing I just mentioned, because social media is a long game. Okay. So here's why let's get really tactical now. So number one, I changed my headshot. My headshot is one that I know my target market wants to see. Now I'm wearing a black V-neck right here. It's my daily go-tos. This is what I rock and do. But most people want to see me wear maybe something a little bit nicer. So I'm just wearing a nice suit, no tie, because I don't be too stuck up, if you will. Right? It's just that's the image they want to see. It's no problem. Right image, boom. Change it in Canva, make it pop. Add a blue ring, make it yellow. Boom. Now I stand out. Very important, and you'll find out why in a second. So number two, I changed my background. The banner. The banner is a clear. It's a platform to really showcase what you're all about. On there, I literally put on there like how I can help somebody. So it's right. It literally is I help B2B sales professionals sell and earn more. If you're not a B2B sales professional, you don't really care. That's okay. But now my audience knows what I'm all about. There's a very easy call to action. Send me a DM if you want to know more. That's it. I add some credibility pieces because I've been fortunate to be in some magazines. Boom, I'll put them on there. You don't have to do that, but it's nice. But immediately, within 3 seconds, they know what I'm all about. Okay. Then my tagline. So this is all what's called above the fold. The tagline is important. They know what I do, but also it stands out a little bit. So I put in there like I help B2B sales pros earn more, whatever, right? But in there I put from selling speedos to 7-figure contracts. People don't forget that. It's called a pattern interrupt. Boom. They see it. They stop. Like, what's this guy all about? This is weird. Exactly. And it worked. I got your attention. Okay. So now you want to keep reading. Okay. So now let's just say, for example, the rest of the page it's filled with from the about section to whatever. It's a story about me, my background, what I'm all about. People love stories, who I can help, who I can serve. There's links in there to, free resources, proof that I can help them, credibility, etc. The about section are things that I know they want to know about. So really think about this. Everything below the tagline are things that your target market will find of value. So for example, I know my target market. Sometimes there's a little bit of an asterisk next to sales trainers and coaches. Oh, do they even do the job? Oh, let me just show you. Okay, so yeah. I show proof. Boom, 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 boom. Clear proof. I carried the bag. I did the job, and taught others to do it as well. That's a very powerful way to gain credibility. Okay, and then the last piece on that page as well is my recommendations. I make sure I have good recommendations on there. So recommendations are like reviews for you or your business. So this way, if someone's thinking about, hey, you know what? Do I want to work with Anthony? Oh, cool. That's a cool Canva picture. That's cool. Maybe he made everything else. Oh, wow. He's got a lot of recommendations. That's pretty hard to fake. Now I know, like, and trust this person and know they can help me. So the page by itself is very powerful. It's very powerful by itself. If you want to get more complex, you can build in landing pages, opt-ins, etc., that can bring people in to take someone that's dead cold into a lead and nurture them. In which I have those as well. A little more complex, but you get you do some back and stuff, but you get that piece. So that's step number one: optimize your profile to be incredibly attractive to your target market. Let me pause for a second. Any questions on that before I dive into some other strategies?
I mean, man, one, I feel like this is like I said, I feel like it's an intense one-on-one coaching session.
Yeah.
Love what you're going on there, optimizing the profile, having that set up. When someone's making these changes, are you having notify your whole network? Like, let's say you go today and you make a change to your headline or your tagline or something different. Do you notify your existing network of your new opportunity? Like I saw you just joined Forbes Council. Like, did your whole network get notified that you added that to your profile?
No, I take that off. I mean,
Okay.
I don't need to, because I'm always testing stuff, right?
Okay.
So,
Yep.
I leave off notifications, because it's not, you don't really want, because you're going to be adding things, new links. Maybe you're a contributor now in a magazine or whatever. You don't want to be notified every single time. Like,
Okay.
really, it's just picture it's a place where it's like a mini website. It's a mini website that can kind of showcase what you're all about and help gain trust and credibility and hopefully convert some people into lead opportunities, right? And the reason why the profile is the number one thing you want to do first is when you start putting out content or you add connections or you comment, the first thing they do is check out your profile. So if you're taking care of step one already, you already have the game, right? So you made sure the house looks freaking good before the guests come over. Okay, so get the house in order, make sure it looks super good, clean it all up. It's really a one-time investment of a couple hours. And again, a little tip here, when you're writing the text in there, again, what does your audience want to know about and hear about? And are you writing in a very simple language? Okay. The simpler the language, the more they're going to read. And the more content they consume, the more they're going to like you. So this is actually why majority of my stuff is written at a 3rd grade level. Very intentional. 3rd grade level converts at a higher level than the 5th grade, 7th grade, 10th grade. And the reason because people's brains like the path of least resistance. Okay. And we talk about writing copy and content that converts into leads, you need to keep it as simple as possible. So for example, a very simple tool is you go to HemingwayApp.com, completely free, HemingwayApp.com. If you say in your about section, you write about yourself, take that and paste it in there. Now it's not gonna be perfect every time, right? So it's okay if it's 5th grade, but just if you have a goal of 3rd grade, it's fine. Paste it in there. It'll tell you in there what sentences are complex, hard to read, if the grammar's off. It'll tell you what grade level you're actually writing at as well. So
really?
You can fix it around spot, right? Fix it on spot to make it simpler. Because somebody's taking like maybe a long sentence and making it into 2 sentences or 3 sentences. All right. So it can just helps you format that. Then you fix it, boom, it's good. You're at the grade level you want. Copy that, paste it back into the place you're trying to put it at. Okay. And you can do the same thing with writing content. All right. So that's the first thing. Optimize your profile, make it easy to digest and read. All right. Now, number 2, here's the thing. The mistake some people make is they say, cool, I got that. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to start like commenting. I'm going to start like posting content out there. You can for sure, 100%. So the thing is, remember this, when you post content, you have to ask yourself, does the audience you currently have, is it the right audience you're targeting? Because if you're just posting content out there, if your audience is, maybe you used to sell to doctors before, I'm just making something up. And so everything's all doctors in your audience, and you're putting out content, maybe you're selling to, lawyers now, I'm speaking, whatever, lawyers now, it doesn't make your content won't make any sense. It won't resonate. All right. So now you want to make sure when you're putting out content, your content is designed to resonate with the right people. So let's just say, for example, let's just say you don't have any of the right people in your audience. No problem. Now, a couple different ways. Okay. I'll tell you the really strategic way, and you'll get faster, more targeted results. Then I'll teach you the other way, the free way. Okay. So the one that costs a little money, but it's definitely worth it, is you just basically make sure you upgrade this LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You create a very targeted, specific search, a Boolean search of the specific people you are targeting. That could be geographic, demographics, et cetera, right? So for example, if I'm selling to lawyers in, the Midwest, I'm creating specific ones. Titles are lawyers, attorneys, any common words for the title as a Boolean search. And then I'm gonna create searches, boom. And I'm gonna start connecting to 50 to 100 of them every single day. Okay. So now it's kind of like you have an empty pond. I'm gonna fill it out with my fish I need, the fish I want to fish for. Okay. Start putting them in. Put the fish in. Okay, that's the better way to do it, because you do it, for 5 days in a row. That's 250 people, right? And I would do no message. Don't leave the message blank.
I was literally going to ask you that. Why? That's a good question.
You have a high conversion. Now, here's the exception, okay? So your goal is to get them to make as many as possible to accept it. If you have a really well optimized profile, they're going to see your connection request, check you out. They're going to decide they want to accept it or not, okay? If you put a message in there, it can detract from what they do. So they might be like, oh, we're going to try to sell me, right? Now, here's the asterisk. If you can create a hyper-personalized message in there instead, that's really clear it's made for them. Different. So for example, let's just say if you were a lawyer, right? And I'm gonna, if I see you have a podcast called, I don't know, Losses for Lawyers, I'm making something up, whatever. Okay, like, hey Anthony, I loved your last episode of, Losses for Lawyers with X. Oh, I love this. Hoping to connect here. Clearly, here's a fan. They're gonna accept it. Boom, you're in like Flint, like just like that. If you can't do that, then don't put a message. Okay, so highly customized or no message. Okay, so now they're accepting it, right? And then boom, now you're starting to fill your pond full of the right people. All right, and we're gonna get to outbound messaging in a second as the last strategy, but that's the first strategy. Just get the right people in. Okay, get the right people in, because you want them to see your content. And then what you can do as you start creating content now, and the content strategy has got to be very specific. So whenever you write content, and there's a few different versions. You can do text only, you can do videos, you can do PDFs, you can do articles. You have a couple different options here. Number one, text only, like you have 1,300 characters. That gives you the furthest reach. Okay, meaning most you get more eyes on that than a video, but you still want a mixture regardless. Okay, but for all the posts, just to keep it simple, just think, what does your target market want to see? Not what you want to see, but what do they want to see? What do they want to see? How can you serve them? How can you help them? So, because you're going to want to create content for whichever medium you do, text, video, whatever, it's to help serve them. It could be helpful tactics, strategies, inspire them. It doesn't have to have anything to do with what you do either. As long as you are helping them and they see you of value. So let me give you an example. Let's say I sell to HR managers. Okay, maybe I have an HR management software. Okay, maybe I think about what are common problems of HR managers. They usually don't like turnover. Turnover is a huge issue. It causes a lot of friction in the business. It's bad. They have metrics, etc. Okay, cool. So maybe you go and you research maybe those common, most popular books or blog posts or whatever, and you glean some ideas from there, and you write some posts directly towards that. It's helpful. So for example, maybe it's you get the book, The 7 Hidden Reasons Why Employees Really Quit or Leave, or something like that. And you can read chapter 1. Chapter 1's about X, whatever. You take like 3 bullet points from there, and that's your post. Pure value for them. Okay. And there's a format to the post that you want to do as well. But again, the point is you want to give value to. Does that make sense so far? You might what I'm spilling.
I'm following you along so much. I love that you're the value. I also love the text only reaches further, because I have found, and I've been guilty of it, and I've corrected it a while ago, but I've been guilty. Like sometimes you share an article, which is great, but it's not as much reach. And I see that. And sometimes selfishly, I'm sharing my own article and I'm like, man, I think I would just do better if I just took a snippet from the article and just wrote it, as opposed to sharing the link back to the article.
Yeah. So you'll see any links to the external outside the site, they minimize your reach. And if you think about this, the goal of every single platform is to be real here, is to keep you addicted and keep you on the platform. So when you are sharing external links, it's forcing them to go outside of the sphere of LinkedIn, of Facebook, of Instagram, somewhere else. That platform doesn't like it. So let's just say, for example, same thing, even with that article, right? You could do the same thing. You could pull a couple points from the article maybe you wrote. It's very powerful, okay? Or maybe at one point, really elaborate on it. And then you have a little PS at the bottom. Say, hey, PS, by the way, check out the full article in the comments. Okay. That way they can still get access to it and go there from there, right? So it's very intentional, right? So, but even the structuring, there's a pattern here. So, success leaves clues. How you write posts is very important as well. So writing posts, it's got to be like, majority of people are reading on their mobile, right, on their cell phone. So the posts you write, the content you create has to be very easy to digest on a phone. So that's why, for example, like you'll see the text is very simple. It's spaced out, but there's a format. Like typically the format I follow for the structure of the overall core is a hook, a story or value, and then a call to action. Hook, story, or value, call to action. That's my form of every single post I write. Now you'll notice, if you pay attention, you'll notice now. So the hook has to capture their attention. If it's a text-only post, the first 3 lines are all they see before they hit see more. So your first 3 lines has to hook them in. So if it's not good, they won't look. So again, hook them in first 3, then they'll click see more. They read the rest. They see value. They see the story. They're inspired. The call to actions do whatever. Then they do the call to action.
I love that.
It's
I love the hook part. I love grabbing it. And you have a framework that you're introducing. So it's and one of the things you said, and it's as you're saying it, I'm like kicking myself in my head. You're building your client avatar, for lack of better words, for your LinkedIn profile.
That's it.
Because we do it for sales, and I mean, I have clients who listen to the show like, Anthony, that's all we spend so much time talking about who's my client avatar, and I've never even thought of putting 2 together as who's my client avatar on LinkedIn. So I love that part.
Yeah, exactly right. And go really deep, right? And I'm sure you talked about this before, but for all listeners, as a quick refresher, it's more than just demographics. It's more than just say, hey, listen, I am targeting, females between ages 25 or 34 who live in Delaware and just had a kid. That's not enough. Okay. Go deep into psychographics. Okay. What does that target market, that avatar, that perfect audience person, the one you are looking at, their ICP, ideal customer profile, what do they want, need, and desire? Okay. What keeps them up at night? And what you want to think about is what you want to know is whatever you know, if you were to say, if it should pass the whisper test. And here's what I mean by that. Let's just imagine your perfect customer is out to dinner with their spouse. They're having a great dinner, nice dinner. And you walk up to them, they have no idea who you are. And you go up to, let's say the woman's ear, and you're like, hey, as if they're their HR manager, I know turnover keeps you up at night and you feel you can't control it. I know it frustrates you when managers complain about the employees and they call it good turnover, but it's never good. I know you're stressed because you have requisitions that you've opened that you haven't filled. I know you're concerned that people are quitting left and right and you don't know why. And you go on and on, and you're able to whisper their deepest fears. And they're like, oh my God. And they rush away with you because they're freaked out that you read their mind. Okay. That's exactly what you do. That's how deep your content has to hit them in their heart, in their minds to get them to take action. Okay. And that's how you write your content. That's how you create posts, videos, etc. that helps show you understand that and provide solutions and tips and inspiration. So then they're like, oh, he or she is talking to me. They're talking to me. It's like they reach through their phone and they're talking directly to me. That's a power when you understand the psychographics and you create content to solve their deepest desires, needs, and wants. Okay. So you do that. Okay. So you start creating content as number 1. Now mix it up, text, video, etc. Because again, text is really good because you get the reach. So for example, my average text post will reach 8 to 10,000 people per day on Facebook. For me to get that type of reach, I pay $500 a day. Okay. So I pay a lot in ads while I get it free on LinkedIn. Right. So that's why I love LinkedIn. Okay. So it's very powerful. All right. So start doing that. So videos are important too, because videos are really great for engaging people's hearts and minds and knowing you're a real person. They're like, oh, cool. Like, obviously they're real. They're not faking it. Like, they're not just pretending to be someone else. They can see you. They don't feel catfished, right? They actually know you're legit. That's very powerful. Okay, so do videos as well. Okay, so you have optimize the profile, you add people in, get the audience in. Now you're creating content for them. They're seeing, they're liking it, etc. Boom, it's very powerful. Next, let's talk about also building it from another way, which is taking advantage of hashtags and micro and macro influencers. Okay, so now look for the specific hashtags that are really important to that industry and take a look, the most recent or relevant posts, and go and engage on those posts. Drop some pure value on there, share some value, just solve problems. And what happens is if someone puts a post up, whether it's a hashtag or a micro or macro influencer, they put a post up about whatever. Just share your opinion, be of value. And we do that consistently, then everyone's going to see that and be like, who's this person here? That was pretty useful. Like, be of value. Because then if that comment's really good, what do you think is the first thing they do if they don't know who you are? What do you think is the first thing they do if you drop a good comment?
Oh, they go to your profile, your optimized profile.
Your optimized profile, and they go check you out. Absolutely beautiful, right? Again, and now the magic of the page does work. It warms them up, gets them nurtured, gets them know, like, and trust you. Okay, and then of course it's the same thing where if you are not connected with them and your post shows up in their feed, like, who's this person again? Let me go check. Oh yeah, So now they're getting warmed up into you. Okay, warmed up into you. So those are the strategies that you do to start generating some of these type of early lead opportunities. Okay, but there's more. You should also include an outbound strategy too, because right now, you can't just sit around and wait for people. Okay, like, you can't be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I did that. I commented like on 200 people today. I'm working hard. Well, there's difference as we all know between being busy versus productive. Okay, if you next is you need to make sure you get in front of people. So that leads into the outbound strategy. Now, those people that you were adding 50 to 100 per day, start DMing every single one. Okay, but what I would recommend is dropping a video message. What I love about LinkedIn is you can drop video, you can drop voice, you can drop text, you can include files, you can do all these things within the inbox of LinkedIn. Now, most people get a lot of spammy messages, so you can do the opposite. The key is, boom, they accept it, grab your phone or do it at the end of the day, you film them a quick video, right? Just to say what's up and give them something completely free of high value with a very soft call to action. Very important. What you do not want to do is go into a pitch fest on the video. And you want to be customized to. So don't just record one and blast them all. Record a custom video to them. Especially if you're an individual contributor, right? Like, it's totally fine. If you're scaling a big business, you can't do it. After a while, you can't do it. But for most people out there, they can grab their phone and film a very quick video. Would you like me to share with you maybe a sample of what it might sound like? Would that help?
Oh, absolutely, man. Keep going. This honestly, Marcus, there's so much value here. And I'm like taking it all in. I know my audience is taking it all in. I mean, this is, like I said, you're breaking down the science of using LinkedIn as a revenue source. So dude, 100%, man.
All right, cool. So the first thing is, before you do this, you need to build an asset or acquire an asset from your company. And the asset is something like this: something of high value, irresistible, and super helpful for your target market. So I'll repeat again. It's something of high value, irresistible, and of value to your target market. So they must want it. Like, you put in junk, you get junk out, okay? You put in something good, you get something good out, okay? So it's really, really important. And this could be anything. This could be a free training. Maybe it's a really good blog article. Maybe it's a training video. Maybe it's a cheat sheet. Maybe it's an ebook, something of high value that's very low commitment for them to take advantage of, but that'll also allow you to show, hey, you know what you're talking about. You can build that know, like, and trust factor with them and hopefully open them to have a conversation together, okay? That's the key. All right. So for example, for me, I have many freebies out there. I have PDFs, ebooks, live record webinars, my free group, whatever I have. So I have different things I do. Okay. So let's just say, for example, let's just say I am selling to HR managers again, like we're talking about here. The video sounds like, let me get into my mode.
Yeah,
so
no, please do.
You grab your phone, boom, and you film. Let me back up. You film it native in the app. Really important, native in the app. Do not film it via Vidyard, BombBomb, Loom, etc. You want native in the app. Minimize the amount of friction it takes for someone to watch the video. Okay. So they can watch it and reply to you. What you don't want them to do is go somewhere else, watch it. Oh, cool. They have to go back to do whatever, because in between, suddenly the dog barks, the kid yells. Oh, they're distracted. They put that on the phone. They go back. They're gone. They forgot about your video. Okay. And also because of the way it works on like iPhones, it opens a weird like a link they can't get back to anyways. Okay. So what you want to do, you film the video. It sounds something like, hey, Anthony. Hey, Marcus Shan here with ABC Software. Hey, I want to send you a quick note to say thank you so much for connecting with me. Means a lot to me. My big goal is to give massive value for HR managers. I actually put together an awesome free 3-step PDF guide to reduce turnover. You can apply literally overnight. So check it out below. I hope you enjoy. Super happy to connect. Take care. See ya. That's it.
Okay.
20 seconds, super low, easy call to action. I honestly have a better idea what your guide is. I didn't know. I just made something up. So then go from there. Boom. Then here's a ninja trick, because sometimes they watch that video and they're like, or they can't watch it because they're somewhere else. They're like, I don't know, with their kids or whatever, in the meetings, they can't push play. So they see that notification, they look at it, like, I'll watch this later, and they forget. And they never get to hear your message. They don't know it's legit. They don't know what's going on. So instead, or what you do on top of that, below that, basically write very similar text to what you just said, but type it out.
Okay.
Same thing, but in shorter form, very easy to read. So it might be like, hey, Anthony, like I mentioned in my above video, super happy to connect. Hope, my goal is to give you some great value for HR managers. Check out this free guide. Enjoy. Have a great day. That's it. So now if they are in a loud area, they can read it. Oh, that's cool. Nice. All right. Check it out later. You're memorable. You stand out. They saw the video. Very powerful. All right. And you do that every single time, you will get a high response rate, high engagement. And obviously the goal is then you have a conversation. You can nurture them a little bit in the DM to get into a book call. It can lead to a discovery, a close, etc. All tied together. And again, remember this. They watch that video. They're like, not sure. They check out your profile. Boom, you're optimized, baby. Again, it warms them up again. It's all tied together.
My goodness. I mean, Catapult and Commissions family, dude. That is prospecting 101 on LinkedIn. I mean, holy wow. I mean, you literally have a system in place that is duplicatable, that is scalable. And I mean, as you start to grow, right? I don't imagine, Marcus, at this point, I don't want to assume, so let me correct myself. Are you still actively reaching out to 50, 100 people every day? Or is it a little bit more the other way around now?
So from behind the scenes, this is what I do now, right? And I'm very transparent in how in my approach. And it's really funny what people say about this. So what happens is when you start putting out really good content consistently, you're gonna get like zero traction for like 3 months. Okay, that's what on platform. It just takes time to build up. So people are like, oh, okay, they're consistent actually. After a while, people are gonna say, wow, I found your stuff. They'll tag people. You start getting requests nonstop. Okay, so definitely after a while, you can just start accepting video, and you start converting those. Okay, and that's very, very powerful. Now, but you can't rely just on that. Like a smart sales professional business owner does not rely on inbound only, because market changes, algorithm changes, things change, and you cannot depend on that. So you have to do outbound as well. So for me, I have a VA in which I built her a specific Boolean search. So every day she goes and adds 50 plus people of my target market into my connection requests. And she sends them a DM as well. That's basically, it's a copy and paste template, but there's enough personalization that I teach her how to do so they feel it's more personalized. But I also make it really clear, it's not from me, it's from my VA. So they say, hey, Anthony, full transparency, this is Joyce, Marcus's VA. Our big goal is to give impact to people who are in B2B sales. Like we actually put together a free training to help you do X, Y, and Z. Would you be open to checking it out? If not, no worries. Have a great day. Boom. So it's super soft. There's no hard pitch. They see it. Oh, cool. Some people don't like it. I get that. But when you scale, It's what happens. You can't personalize on the same level. Now, what happens? They receive it, and most people are like, "Oh yeah, sounds good." We have typically a 30-40% response rate wanting the free training, right? Also with an optimized profile, that helps too. Now that's very so we're still doing it consistently. That's really important, really important. You want to keep that outbound engine always rocking. Now here's the thing as well. A LinkedIn strategy is good, but you also need, this is a mistake I see many people make. They're like, okay, cool, that's it. I'm going all on LinkedIn. Yeah, for sure. But I have backend systems put in place where they get nurtured as well. All right. There's backend stuff as well. They get nurtured in terms of, they grab my free training. They're entered into my email sequence, and I give them free value. So now they're in my system. They're in my world now. So I provide them as many ways to hit them. LinkedIn. Now they're in my email world. And in my email world, eventually they can go into my other assets. I had to help give more value, my free Facebook community, maybe it's Instagram, whatever it's going to be. But now it's going to start getting hit into different areas. Now I'm super strategic as well. Some of those pages I have what's called a pixel on there. So now Facebook knows they're on there, right? And they're getting hit with different ads I'm putting out there. All free stuff. Boom, value. So now they're like, what world am I in? I just see Marcus everywhere, right? But it's all intentional. It's all designed to help give them value and nurture them. And do some people not like him? That's going to happen. That's simply going to happen. But when your goal is impact millions of people, you're going to have some haters. That's life.
Yeah. Oh, I say this as somebody I was terrified of coming out into social media, and I've been actively involved almost a little under 2 years now. And I remember the very first time I started getting posts of like, dude, you're full of crap. Dude, your book sucks. Yeah. So you're just like, all right, you know what? I laughed and I chuckled. I took some screenshots. I'm like, well, today is the day that my message reached somebody who didn't know me. High five. I was jazzed. I was like, someone who doesn't know me saw my message, saw it enough to say that, hey, you're a piece of crap, whatever. Love it. Because now the message is getting wider. So
that's right.
Dude, I love the strategic approach you're taking here. So everything funnels into, Marcus, just value. I mean, I literally feel like I feel dumb for not knowing this. And I'm sure if I feel this way, someone else does, because we're salespeople. So we're so used to delivering value to our prospects, delivering value on our next sales call. Come in for this meeting. What's the value I'm sharing? And some way, shape, form, or another, we get into social media sometimes and we forget. We just hey, and I mean, you addressed it, because what you just stated here separates you from some of the DMs that I get in my LinkedIn profile today. Because I get hard pitched daily for, can I do this for you? Can I do this for you? And then, people, I mean, they know Catapulted Commissions is a brand. They know I have a podcast. They know I have video graphics. I mean, but it's always, I'm trying to sell you this. Or the other happens, and every salesperson knows this. When you are a salesperson of any clout, someone always thinks you want to sell their product, their service, their widget, their industry. So I'm always getting hard closed. Very few people actually go on the approach of what you just shared. So I love that, man. And I'm definitely going to make some changes in my own brand based off this conversation.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Right. And here's the thing, a lot of these things, I simply made the mistakes early on. That's what it was. I made the mistakes. I didn't realize. I invested into people that could teach me better marketing strategy. Because here's what I believe. I think, especially for salespeople like you and me, we grew up in the world of direct selling. Okay, the phone work, the email, or sort of like we're good. Put it in front of us, like physically in front of a prospect. Oh, nailed it. We're going to do a great job. But some of the others are kind of the top of the funnel marketing work. It's just a little bit different. Conceptually, it makes sense until you start doing it, and you just don't realize. And so I made the mistakes. I've tested. I'm still testing and tweaking. Like, I'll put bad posts out there. I'll make a tweak that doesn't do well. I'll create a landing page that no one likes. Right. So that's still very normal. At the end of the day, it's taking some of these core timeless strategies and just being different. Like, if you think about it, it's kind of like the saying goes, when everyone goes left, go right. Don't follow take the path that's least walked, or whatever that saying is. That's kind of the same thing with the video messaging. You know, it is hard. It takes more time. You can't scale it, but you do get better results and you get deeper connections. You get deeper whatever. Like, for example, people book calls with me daily, right? But they have to go through a qualification process. But when they book a call with me, pretty much for the most part, if they have an iPhone, they're getting an iMessage from me with a video. So they're like, oh, wow, this is a real person. Like, I watched your Facebook video. I didn't know you were like real. I thought it was so entertaining. They see that video from me on their phone. They're like, oh, wow. This dude on the internet just sent me a video message custom to me. That's very powerful, right? And they have an Android, it doesn't come through as clear. I have to do it via video, but same concept. They're like, oh wow, it stands out again. At the end of the day, remember this: like sales and marketing, it's a game of attention. Where the attention goes, revenue, money flows. So if you can find a good way and you can scale the best you can, whether it's videos or great quality content or whatever, that creates more eyeballs on it, which is going to lead to future clients, them being satisfied, et cetera, right? And on all those things. Again, just like anything else, that's only one piece of the puzzle. That's the first part. On the back end, of course, make sure fulfillment is absolutely nails too. You got to make sure you deliver too.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Marcus, man, two things. One, I'm gonna have to get you back on the show because we are gonna run out of time, and I still have a million questions. I think there's so much value that you've provided to the Catapulting Commissions family. But let's just say, okay, so we've executed this LinkedIn strategy, we get things going, and we're like still stuck. Say somebody does want to work with you. How do they get connected with you? Besides is LinkedIn the best way? And we're gonna include all of that in the show notes.
Yeah, LinkedIn's a great place to go. If you head over to sixfiguresalesacademy.com/cash. That's sixfiguresalesacademy.com/cash. CASH. Head over there. Right on there, you'll see there's a Kill Robust training as well. It's ungating. You check it out. You can also hit a button up there. It'll tell you exactly how to get a hold of me as well. You can put time on my calendar. I can help you out there as well. And regardless of how you spell it, it'll redirect because I own both domains, whether it's the number 6 or regular 6.
Good for you. All right, man. Well, Catapulting Commissions family, I got to be honest with you guys. I have had numerous guests on the show, and I'm very rarely left speechless at the end. And Marcus, you did that. Today it was such a dynamic interview. Can I get you to come back on the show down the road?
I can't believe you're closing me on the podcast for part 2. Of course. That's peer pressure. It's not even peer pressure. I'm pumped. I cannot wait. We'll definitely dive in probably more than just LinkedIn, right? But for sure, I would be my absolute honor and pleasure to come back for part 2.
All right, man. We are going to bring you back. Catapulting Commissions family, do me a favor, guys. Go get connected with Marcus. Go get connected with Six Figure Sales. Go get connected with him on LinkedIn. Like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't take notes during this episode, rewind, replay, take notes. And do this as a personal favor for all of us sales professionals. Make your LinkedIn strategy stand out. Do not just fire the message with the product and why I need it. Like, take that time, and Marcus really does walk you through how to create an optimized profile, how to sell on LinkedIn. And you heard the man say it. He has scaled multiple 6-figure income opportunities off of LinkedIn. So we know it can be done. Catapulting Commissions family, thanks for joining me. Subscribe, like, comment. I will see you next Wednesday.